Hello, my name is Christos Voskaris, and me and my group, Conor Slater, Zakheos, and Andreas Evagkelidis, who is recording the video right now, we are going to present to you a documentary about Preston Guild. Guild originally was created for citizens and had as a goal to give the Preston citizens the ability to control the trade within the town. Preston Guild is the only guild still celebrated in the United Kingdom, and as such is unique. The celebration of the guild dating back to 1179, and because of that, and because of the fact that it's taking place once every 20 years, 2012 guild is the first of the 21st century. The changing time means that each guild has its own identity, but shares a heritage of over 800 years. Residents and visitors, artists and businesses, athletes and performers, everyone get involved in Preston Guild. The guild has a long history and has evolved over centuries. But one thing that has always remained the central focus of the guild is people. It's still the people's guild. Guild traditions, guild proclamations. We have 3 days for guild proclamations: Saturday 18th of August, 25th of August and 1st of September. One in each Saturday before the main celebration of the guild. Crowds will be back into Market Square to join in a tradition which gives them a direct link with Preston Guild. Guild Court. Monday 3rd of September. This ceremony is the head of Preston Guild. The order of processing is carefully followed guild after guild, forming an unbroken link with Preston of Middle Ages. Formal adjustments of the guild court. Saturday 8th of September. In comparison to guild court, this is a shorter but no less magnificent civic ceremony with no procession before it. The guild mayor's civic procession and dive-in service at the minster. This first procession of Guild's Week is another link with ancient customs. Crowds will watch or join in the magnificent procession as it moves from the guild hall to the minster. Guild's mayor's civic procession to service of Thanksgiving at the minster. Saturday will take place Saturday 9th of September, following as a similar pattern as the first Sunday of Guild's Week. Preston will witness the last procession of the guild as the civic party. Guild balls will take place at 5th of September. Balls and dances have been guild traditions since centuries. This guild will be one in this guild will be one civic ball in guild hall. Fireworks display and farewell ceremony. The 10 days Guild City Festival to celebrate 10 years as a city will come to a climax with spectacular fireworks display. Now I'm giving the speech to...
Hi, my name's Conor. I'll be explaining not just the economical factors but also the environmental, because littering and increased profit for fair trade, that's what the Preston Guild brings to Preston. Not only that, it's currently known as the People's Guild due to the fact that it doesn't just bring one set of people together, it brings the whole community together by like volunteers, such things as that. But from the presentation at the beginning, we've talked about like the historical side of it. I'll be explaining the economical, and then next George and Andreas will be explaining the social. But in the economical, basically, you have to highlight the 2 key points is littering, because any such big events such as the Preston Guild have to take into consideration littering by the local people from Preston. So the Guild get a whole team together that is run through the whole 3 days, who basically go around cleaning up after people, due to the fact that people, because there's not that many bins on Moor Park and Avenham Park, then these people pick it up, so then there's not a big clutter of rubbish, which in turn may not be biodegradable, which takes 20 years to rot in the ground. And by doing this, they put it in a landfill and it just rots there. But and it also stops vermin and any other form of rodents, for example rats, going on the park. So then in turn makes it more health and safety for the people, and it'll just make it a more pleasant day if littering is basically taken control of and sorted. Also, we'll be talking about the increased profit for fair trade. Because basically the fair trade are allowed to sell their items at the Preston Guild during that, and then in turn, basically, by them selling the fair trade items, it's not just bringing Preston together, it's touching the hearts of people that are less fortunate. And originally Preston was known for the guilders that are created as a form for just trade, and then over the years it's just changed, and now it's all about remembering the history. And it's not just remembering the history, it's also changing the lives of people less fortunate. And basically littering has always been a very big issue. Any form of event such as this, and it happens at like things like other events like Creamfields, which is basically a large amount of people in one area for more than one day, and then if it's not tackled, then the litter builds up. Basically the guild set a lot the team together who go around picking up the litter, and then obviously it just makes Preston seem a nicer place, because not many people would want to be walking around on a park where it's meant to be a fun, joyful atmosphere, and seeing rubbish on the floor. And it brings families out, and a little kid, anything could happen. He could trip over, cut his knee. So the guild basically they get volunteers who go around, who just pick up the rubbish, and then in turn obviously stop the non-biodegradable items cluttering the roads and everything, the roads and the streets and everything. Also, basically, Preston, the guild logo is a big G, and they allow a form of advertisement for the fair trade people as well. Basically, they put a fair trade logo in with the image of the guild. Obviously, it's going to save money for the people fair trade, and obviously make their money by they'll be able to sell their items. So then in turn, it's Preston. The guild is not just obviously helping people in Preston remember their heritage. It's hopefully trying to change people's like perception on like what people think of Preston, because it brings the community together. And by doing this, it helps people that are less fortunate. Also, when thinking of economical issues for the guild, you've got to take into consideration money. Everything costs money these days, and Preston Council and the guild have to take into consideration basically the direct cost, indirect and induced. Basically the direct costs are the expenditure that the guild is spending themselves actually on the running of the guild, and the indirect ones is basically expenditure from which by employees of the companies basically have provided a service. So there's some volunteers, because that's what they do, but then there's other people that are actually paid to do this and just do it as a passion as well. And then they all have to take into consideration. And finally, it's the induced cost. Basically, it's where money is spent by a supplier to the guild or on the guild for certain things and other companies and services. Basically, the guild has to keep track of all these costs, because basically the induced cost, they might have some contract with a certain company that in turn they might get some form of like the profits, or they might get some marketing rights or something, and they have to keep track of everything they spend, because if everything's not met to budget, then Preston Council and the community will suffer later on when it comes to spending money on other things. I'll take it over to George.
Hello, my name is George. In this part I will explain social benefits for Preston together with Andreas. To begin with, a lot of companies located in Preston area will act like sponsors and offer money for the festival. This will affect the sponsor companies in a good way, because they will be advertised widely in not only Preston, in town of Preston, but UK generally. That means the companies would will be advertised all over the city. Local companies from Preston will get known by local and foreign people, and as a result, their reputation will increase. Moreover, Preston Guild 2012 Festival will affect economically the local companies in a good way. This will result in a major cash injection in town of Preston and UK generally. In addition, many tourists will visit Preston for the festival, so more money in the economy of UK.
Preston Guild 2012 will be a celebrating event for the town. It will bring people together celebrating in the streets. People responsible for the festival will offer souvenirs from the kiosk that will be all over the streets. For the time that the festival will take place, a number of people will be needed as volunteers for Preston Guild 2012 to take place. At last, during the period of the festival, the town of Preston will be like a festival capital of United Kingdom at that time because of the fact that the event takes place once every 20 years. During Preston Guild 2012, festival town of Preston will become famous and increase in reputation.
Now what we're going to do is show you a brief interview where myself and George and Andreas and Christos basically went and spoke to a volunteer who is currently working with the guild just to make the day an extra special day, and I've asked him 3 questions. We took into consideration the social, the environmental and the economical, and also I went into more depth in the social as well, and he explained some of the history. He explains that basically the guild is now a people's guild, but it was originally set up as for traders to trade. Well, here you go, this is an interview that we did. Stephen basically helped us to basically put into perspective what the guild actually means to people from Preston. It's not just people from Preston that benefit though, it draws people in from different communities as well. So that's what we use this interview to basically think about what aspects that are important when obviously the guild is running and the upkeep of the guild. But anyway, thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure.